Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Morning Podcast. Let's first take a look into Indian markets closing yesterday. So, yesterday, Indian markets again closed on a positive note, but mostly on the flat side, as Sensex closed with gains of 0.2% and Nifty also closed with gains of 0.2%. Broader markets continue to outperform the benchmarks, with Nifty Mid Cap 100 gaining 0.9% and Nifty Small Cap 100 gaining close to 1%. Talking about the major gainers on NSE, then Power Grid, Coal India, Dr. Reddy's, Maruti Suzuki, Bharti Airtel and Ultratech Cement were some of the gainers on NSE, while top losers were M&M, Tata Steel, L&T, Tech Mahindra, Grasim, BPCL, etc. Taking a look into the sectoral performance of BSE, then BSE utilities and metal sector gained the most, with BSE utilities gaining 2.04% and BSE metal index was up by 0.4%. BSE healthcare also closed 0.3% yesterday, while BSE FMCG index was flat with gains of 0.1%. The major sectoral losers on BSE were BSE Realty, which was down by 1.7%, BSE Capital Goods, which was down by 1.2%, and BSE Auto, which was down by 0.8%. The overall market breadth slightly turned unfavorable as about 1,577 stocks advanced and against them 2,383 stocks declined on BSE. Around 209 stocks made 52-week highs, including names like Ajanta Pharma, Coal India, Crompton Greaves, Emami, HFCL, Zomato, Zydus Life Sciences, and about 27 stocks made 52-week lows. On the FII-DI front, FIIs net bought rupees 2,089 crores in the cash market, while DIs net sold rupees 337 crores in cash market yesterday. Now, taking a look into the global market cues for today, then global market cues looks slightly weak as because of the poor manufacturing data in US. The US manufacturing sector contracted for the fourth consecutive month in July, as high interest rates in the US continue to weaken demand for new orders. The weekly jobless claims rose to 2.49 lakhs versus expectations of 2.35 lakh, indicating persistent weakness in the US economy. The earnings from big tech companies also came out slightly weaker. The Asian markets led by Japan showing big cracks after BOJ raised interest rate to 0.2%. So most of the Asian markets are currently trading on a negative side. So we can expect a gap down start for our market in today's trade. Now moving on to some of the key results which were announced by companies yesterday. First one is Tata Motors. The company's consolidated revenues grew 5.7% year-on-year in the June quarter. EBITDA was up 14.4% year-on-year. Margins expanded by 109 basis points year-on-year to 14.4%, and net profit was up by 72.4% year-on-year. So overall, it's a decent set of numbers from Tata Motors. ITC's Q1 revenue grew 7.2% year-on-year to rupees 17,000 crores. EBITDA was up by 0.2% year-on-year and net profit was up by 0.3% year-on-year. The margins, however, contracted to 37% from 39.5% in the corresponding quarter of last year. So overall, the numbers are in line with the estimates. The reaction on the ITC stock price can be neutral in short term. Kalyan Jewellers also reported its numbers. The revenues of the company grew 26.5%. EBITDA was up by 16% year-on-year and net profit was up by 24% year-on-year. EBITDA margin slightly contracted to 6.8% from 7.4% in the corresponding quarter of last year. So overall decent numbers from Kalyan Jewellers. Somany Ceramics Q1 revenue grew 2.6% year-on-year. EBITDA was up 9.7% year-on-year and net profit was down by 2.5% year-on-year. The margins have expanded to 37.5% from 35% in the corresponding quarter of last year. So overall, it's decent numbers from Somany Ceramics. Triveni Engineering's Q1 revenue grew 7% on a year-on-year basis. However, EBITDA was down 31% year-on-year and net profit was down 54% on a year-on-year basis. The EBITDA margin contracted to 5.6% from 8.7% in Q4 of FY24. So weak set of numbers from Triveni Engineering. Ratan India Power's Q1 revenue grew 10% year-on-year. EBITDA was up 20.3% year-on-year. The company has reported a net profit of rupees 93 crores against a net loss of rupees 549 crores in the corresponding quarter of last year. The EBITDA margin of the company expanded to 20.2% from 18.5% in Q1 of FY24. So overall strong numbers from Ratan India Power. Repco Home Finance Q1 total income grew 14% year on year. Net profit was up 18% on a year on year basis. So good set of numbers overall from Repco Home Finance. Paradeep Phosphates Q1 revenue has declined 22.2%. The company has reported an EBITDA profit of rupees 147 crores against EBITDA loss of 38.6 crores in the corresponding quarter of last year. Consequently, the EBITDA margin stood at 6.2% year on year for the company. On a net basis, also the company has reported a net profit of rupees 5.4 crores against a net loss of 120 crores in the corresponding quarter of last year. So overall, it's a mixed set of numbers from Paradeep Phosphates. Some key earnings which will be announced in today's trade are Archean Chemical Industries, CAMS, Delivery, Dhanuka Agritech, GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals, Hindustan Zinc, Kirloskar Brothers, LIC Housing Finance, MedPlus Health Services, Moltech Packaging, PSP Projects, Sheela Foam, Sudarshan Chemical, Titan Industries, Titan Company, UPL and Zydus Wellness will declare their quarterly numbers today. Now, some other stocks which are in focus due to the news are Morpen Laboratories. The company has launched QIP at a floor price of rupees 57.23 per share, which is at a discount of 9.2% to the stock's yesterday's closing price. So, Morpen Laboratories can be in focus. Infosys has received communication from Karnataka state authorities withdrawing the pre-show cause notice. The state has asked the company to submit a further response to the DGGI central authority. So, overall, it's a neutral development in Infosys. Godrej Agrovet will acquire remaining 49% stake in Godrej Tyson Foods for rupees 323 crores and set up a new feed plant in Maharashtra at an initial investment of rupees 110 crores. So this news is positive for Godrej Agrovet in medium to long term. Nestle India has subscribed to a 49% stake in Dr. Reddy's JV for rupees 706 crores and sold its existing medical nutrition and nutraceuticals business to the JV company for rupees 219 crores. So neutral for Nestle India, as a lot of this sentiments has already been discounted in the Nestle India stock price. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories has also invested rupees 734 crores in a JV with Nestle India to undertake its nutraceutical business in India and Nepal. So neutral for Dr. Reddy's as well. Aurobindo Pharma has come out with buyback worth rupees 750 crores, which will open on 5th August and will close on 9th August. So neutral to marginally positive for Auro Pharma. The auto companies will also be in focus for today, as a lot of auto companies yesterday have declared their auto sales numbers for the July month. So, if we look into the auto sales data of Maruti Suzuki, then Maruti Suzuki's total auto sales have declined 2% month on month and 4% year on year to 1,75,041 units. M&M's PV domestic auto sales have grown 4% month on month and 15% year on year at 41,623 units, so positive for M&M. However, M&M's commercial vehicle domestic sales have declined 4% month on month and 6% year on year to 19,713 units. Tata Motors passenger vehicle segment has shown growth of 3% month on month but has declined 6% year on year to 44,954 units. Tata Motors commercial vehicle sales volumes have declined 15% month on month and 18% year on year to 27,042 units. So mixed overall numbers from Tata Motors. Eicher's two-wheeler sales have declined 8% both month on month as well as year on year basis to 67,265 units. Bajaj Auto's two-wheeler sales have declined 2% month on month but has shown growth of 11% year on year to 2,97,541 units. TVS Motors in this two-wheelers segment has reported good auto sales data as their two-wheeler sales have grown 5% month on month and 9% year on year to 3,39,676 units. So positive numbers from TVS Motors. Hero MotoCorp's total sales volumes have declined 26% month on month and 5% year on year to 3,70,274 units. Ashok Leyland's total auto sales volumes have declined 7% month on month and 8% year on year to 13,928 units. Escorts Kubota tractor sales volumes have declined 40% month on month, but has grown 4% year on year to 5,769 units. M&M has also reported similar kind of tractor sales volumes, as its tractor sales volumes have declined 42% month on month, but has grown 8% year on year to 27,209 units. In this tractor segment, VST tillers and tractors have reported, a relatively better set of numbers, as their auto sales numbers have grown 49% month on month and 1% year on year to 5,543 units. So all these auto companies will be in focus in today's trade as well. Now on the IPO front, today Ola Electric Mobility's IPO will open for bidding. The price band for this IPO is set from rupees 72 to rupees 76 per share, and the total IPO size is rupees 6,145 crores. So one can look at into this IPO also, which is opening today. On the bulk deals front, in Restaurant Brands Asia, Plutus Wealth Management LLP has sold 1.44 crore shares, which is 2.9% of the stake at rupees 113 per share. And HDFC Mutual Fund has bought 1.24 crore shares, which is 2.5% of the stake at rupees 113 per share. In AMI Organics, SBI Mutual Fund has bought 11.62 lakh shares, which is 2.8% of the stake at rupees 1,350 per share. And Plutus Wealth Management LLP has sold 10 lakh shares, which is 2.44% of the stake at rupees 1,350 per share. In V2 Retail, MIV Investment Services has bought 1.97 lakh shares, which is 0.56% of the stake at rupees 983.3 per share. In Mishtan Foods, Hitesh Kumar Gauri Shankar Patel has sold 60 lakh shares, representing 0.6% of the stake at rupees 16.4 per share. And Antara India Evergreen Fund Limited has bought 56 lakh shares, which is 0.5% of the stake at rupees 16.4 per share. On the corporate action front, today is the ex-dividend date for a lot of companies, including Allied Digital Services, Cholamandalam Financial Holdings, Jayashree Tea and Industries, Matrimony.com, Monarch Networth Capital, Share India Securities, TVS Electronics, Vedanta, Ajmera Reality, Cello World, Cipla, Divi's Laboratories, Everest Industries, and a lot of companies are having their ex-dividend date today. So one can focus on these stocks as well. So this was all about the daily morning podcast. I think these market data points are enough to track going ahead into today's trade. So thank you everyone for listening.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.